let's go to U.S. Congressman David Schweikert. I think I saw some coffee. So, David, good morning.
Yeah, oh yeah. And I'm excited to hear about the pumpkin patch.
Oh, it's. I'm telling you, I don't know if now that you're running for governor, I don't know if you're going to have time. So, but I would take the kids down there. They got it all. He's got trains. He's got a pumpkin cannon, which is my favorite. It's one of those air compressed cannons, and you can.
Yes. The problem is the 3-year-old boy would probably try to say, "Daddy, Daddy, please let me be launched."
Yeah, thank you.
He seems to be fearless.
My favorite thing is he puts 2 old cars out there at about 200 yards, so you get to pulverize a car with a pumpkin.
With pumpkin.
Yeah.
All right. I know we should get to something important, but we do pumpkin bowling. So once Halloween is over, we will put the pumpkin out in the driveway. Often we won't cut it. And the javelinas show up.
Right.
And like the last couple of years, the whole family sits in the back of my pickup and we watch the javelinas roll the pumpkin back and forth, trying to break it open so they can eat it. And I have some hysterical video of them because this goes on for a few minutes till they can crack it open. And they'll sit there and they're smart enough to smash it against the truck and things like that.
How did this start? Just by accident?
By accident. And I'm embarrassed to say we've probably been doing it for a decade.
All right. There's worse things you can do. So you made the announcement you're running for governor. I do want to we'll get the government shutdown. There's not much to talk about. We'll get towards the end. But what has been the response that you're getting from people out there as you made this announcement to jump the race?
Remarkably kind. Even with my part of my family that are true ultra magas, and that there's this sort of we're tired of losing. Think about it. What is it? The last 6 years, the top of the ticket, the U.S. Senate races, the governor race, the Secretary of States, the Attorney General, both U.S. senators. I think we're tired of losing. And the fact of the matter is, we're already seeing there's this craving for folks that are, shall we say, actual conservatives.
And I've heard everything from they're thrilled that you're in the race. Then I have some of our MAGA right people who can't believe you're doing this. And then I have some donor Republicans who have been giving the KTR for the last so many years, and they love you, but they don't know why you're doing this. And so, and a bunch of them are watching the show right now.
Well, let's actually walk through a little bit of a checklist. I've thrown almost everything I can at Congress. We're borrowing 70 grand a second, $70,000 a second.
Yep.
I'm functioning in a 50-50 district and have proven you can win as a conservative. Just tell the truth. I've introduced bill after bill after bill on how to bend the borrowing. And I can't even get a single fellow member of Congress, Republican or Democrat, to sponsor those bills with me, which sort of leads you to understand how much is theater. I will have members who get up, they give these brilliant speeches, like I'm going to do Maria tomorrow morning, and it will be on debt. And she and I talked a couple of weeks ago as we were getting near the end of the year.
This is Maria
of how Bartiromo,
Okay.
and how many people get on her show, talk about we got to take on this borrowing. We're borrowing, $6.5 billion a day. And then those are the very people who will not actually step up and sponsor a bill because, well, they'd have to tell someone no.
Well, you just
when do folks start to understand? A number of the people I work with are theatrical actors. They're not in the battle.
All right. And you've talked about how you can't get a co-sponsor for Medicare fraud bills. So enjoy that.
It just and we spent months. We went out and visited 50 of the so-called most conservative offices, but because it has the word Medicare, even though it's the Medicare Advantage Part C stuff, which the Wall Street Journal, the Justice Department has their criminal investigation on. But they're afraid to have to go home and try to explain to their base, saying, "Here's where you're getting ripped off."
Right.
I do your show. I mean, how many times do I make particularly the liberals who stare at your show to see what I'm going to say upset by walking them through, like in our state's Medicaid system, access, the amount of inefficiencies that we could fix, the use of borrowed taxpayer money from the federal government to shore up the state budget instead of having it go to health care. We can do this so much better, except in many ways, this is their slush fund. They don't want those of us on the conservative side ever looking at their largesse.
All right, let's get to the questions. Do you need to step down to run for governor? That was a question from
Nope.
one. Okay. Let's see. The other one was, well, Bill, will David be the most caffeinated governor in history? The answer, of course, yes.
um, yeah, and then I'm wondering why I don't sleep. Look, I've never. I'm a non-drinking Catholic. I've never been intoxicated. Yes, of course, I've tasted alcohol, and it's more. I just don't have the taste for it. I'm addicted to black coffee, um, and dark bitter chocolate
No,
is my weakness.
drinking and eating bitter things as you go through Congress it happens. It makes a lot of sense. Now this comes from Betsy, and I've also heard this from my friend Wild Bill. That KTR slash, you're gonna love this, McCain people have convinced you to run so you can screw over Andy and let KTR walk to the governorship race.
Yeah, they need to do math. Look, the McCain people. I seem to annoy everyone because almost no one wants. Look, you know this. You've been and and what happens is you have people who want you to happy talk them and not tell them the truth about the demographics, the math, what's actually going on. Um, if you want to win, you need someone who has proven they can get conservative leaning independents to vote for them. I've beaten two incumbent members of Congress in the last decade and a half. I am the Democrats' most expensive loss. So the Nancy Pelosi's, the leadership of the Democrat Party have thrown an absolute war at me, and I beat them.
Yep.
Um, if you actually give a damn about the state, we need people to toughen up and go to battle. But tell me who in the last 25 years has taken as much incoming from the Democrats and been able to beat them.
There's no one I can think of. And that's not because we're friends. It's just I can't think of one. So then of course, as the rumors of you running for this thing, we had these other surveys by the other campaigns, right,
Yep.
and polling that you're
Well, do you really call sending out text messages polling? You, um, and look, one of the things that's happened today is because almost none of us answer our phone anymore. Actual polling has gotten freakishly expensive and hard to do. So here's for all your wakies. If you see someone putting out a poll, it's a fraud. Because do you go and spend 25, $35,000? We have one that just cost $50,000. Do you spend that sort of money and then give away your information to your opponents?
right,
So real polling is never actually released. What you do is you grab someone who just wants to actually get in the press or get clicks. Say, hey, send out a survey monkey on text messages. Well, just the nature of that is someone like you and we're going to respond to it. We're in tune.
right,
But it turns out it's not just the, you know, 10, 12% of folks who are in tune who vote in the elections. And that's actually why, how many of us saw over the last 2 or 3 cycles our Republican candidates at the top of the ticket, they're going to win. And then election day, they don't. It's because though, look, the text messaging, polling, and all those sorts of things, think of them as entertainment. They're not facts.
What's the proper way of polling if it's not?
You you got to make tens of thousands of phone calls, and you're actually even seeing some of the most sophisticated pollsters now, almost going back to the 1940s and 50s, where you do so much on the telephone, and then 10, 15%, you actually pay people to go door to door now.
Wow.
But think of what that's done to the cost of polling. But if you have a world where we don't answer our phone, and now the updates on the iPhone and even on Androids are blocking calls that aren't in your phone book, polling's dead. Polling is getting so outrageously expensive. Be prepared for absolute lunacy and what people say their numbers are.
I love hitting the screen button on my call now. I have an Android, right? Where basically my little computer voice comes on, but I get to watch the text. It starts doing a texting of it on my thing. So it's,
Mhm.
hi, I'm Jackass's computer Google Assistant. Why are you calling me today? It's the best.
It's but look, the political class, particularly the political consultants, need to stop lying to the base. Um, you need to stop treating the people that are willing to give you their time, their money, their effort. They go out and walk out door to door when it's brutally hot. And then the political consultants get up in front of them, or they tell the candidates, say, tell them this, even though it's absolutely not true.
Right.
Um, and that's been one of the really interesting things about our announcement is the number of just, activists who've been working their hearts out for years saying, I'm tired of the fraud. I'm tired of people telling me things that on election day I find out were never true. Um, Look, they've been playing us like it's a con, and that needs to come to an end.
So when you say they're playing us like a con, what does that mean? Just
When you, how many times? So think about what you and I went through in 2018. Economy was great.
yep.
We had polling that was just brutal around the country. We were doing okay, but we were taking a very different approach in the campaign. And you would turn on cable news, Fox and others. It's going to be a red wave. We're going to win, and we got wiped out all over the country. I ended up being the only urban suburban conservative Republican to get reelected that year. And it's because the happy talk keeps you watching television. The happy talk often keeps you writing checks, but
Right.
the happy talk doesn't help folks understand we got to double down our efforts and get out there, knock on the doors, and turn out our folks. And what's so tough about this coming election is we have nothing at the top of the ticket other than the governor.
Right.
There's no US Senate, there's no president. So that huge block of cash that comes into Arizona to push up turnout will not be there this cycle. We need to tell the truth that if we don't do this well, heaven forbid, what would happen if the Democrats took the state legislature?
Yep.
um, School choice, the flat tax rate, all the progress that Republicans have made here in the last decade disappears in the first week.
Correct.
This isn't a game. We need to take this seriously.
One of my favorite handles in the chat, 121-year-old man. Schweikert's surname origin, a person with gentle or soft nature, or a person in a profession requiring a gentle touch. Thoughts? Question mark. I didn't even know that. I don't know if it's true.
Yeah, I must. Yeah, I'm more of a bull in a china shop, so maybe I missed the gentleman, and it has nothing to do with the amount of coffee I consume.
Then we have, let's see, umpire John, our buddy up in Flagstaff, wants to know where do we find nomination petitions for David Schweikert?
The stuff is did we got the official filing done yesterday.
Okay.
Um, it, you may or may not know the story. We had met with the Arizona Republic reporter and a couple of the others, maybe my mistake. And the deal was saying, hey, you need to sit on this for a couple days. It's called embargo. It's a deal you make. So I can be respectful. I was going to get on the phone and call everyone and those things saying, hey, look, Joyce and I have made the decision. Washington Congress is unsavable. Let's go save Arizona. And as often happens, the Republic just chose to print the story. So they broke the embargo. So we've been doing a little bit of catch up because can you imagine you're chasing your little boy around the house, just trying to dress him. And the phone is exploding saying, the Arizona Republic just published the story. So we're getting our act up. I think we'll have a website up this afternoon. You can sign petitions online, I believe, at the Secretary of State's office right now. And we'll start sending out a PDF. But I can't say thank you enough. And for anyone out there, go look at the conservative union scores, the actual conservative groups, and look how I score. You will find I'm at the very top. I have the largest separation from how my district votes to how I vote. I vote much more conservative than my district. And I'm able to do that because I get off my hiney and I go out and campaign and I explain to moderates and Democrats and people who should be angry with me, saying, here's why you vote that way. Um, and I believe actually an actual conservative, not someone that's just trying to live on grief or anger and grievances, can win today. You just have to go out and tell the morality of prosperity, of morality of being an actual conservative.
So our friend Noah down in Sahuarita, I'm a Biggs guy, not changing. He says he's the most principled man in the race. I'm comfortable with David, but he probably pulls more from the establishment Robeson than Andy Biggs. So what does that look like?
Yeah, that's actually not the polling. But look, Andy's a good guy.
Yeah.
Karen's a good person. I've known them both of most of my life. But at some point, you have to make the decision.
Yeah.
Are you tired of losing?
Sergio, Andy's not electable statewide. David's district is a mirror to the state demographics.
He's absolutely accurate.
And then umpire John again. I'm following the William F. Buckley rule. Nominate the most conservative person who can actually win a general.
Yep. Look, I can't explain how dangerous this is to the state if we don't do well at the top of the ticket.
Yep.
Once again, you don't have a Senate race. You don't have a president.
That's sad.
What happened?
Thank you, Tony. That was going to be good. Tony, did he at least hang up and try? Maybe we'll get a hang up and try again so we can wrap this sucker up.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and do that. He left.
Okay. Let's see. Hold on. Connect again, period. And we'll wrap this sucker up. See, I give you all the behind this guy. I'm too lazy to type it, so I voice text it. So you get to hear all the behind the scenes moves with Bev, is he gonna form a group down here to do stuff for him? The answer is yes. But I could let him answer it when he gets there. Let's see. I haven't seen him yet. Hold on. I see the wavy dots. Hold on. There's something happening here. He wasn't even on the move. Sometimes he gets in trouble at his house because he wants to walk around like he's There he is. There he is. Here we go. Let's do this one. I want to get a couple things here and then we'll get going. There he is. Welcome back, my friend.
Yeah, and I don't know if I assume that was my side. So
I'm always going to blame your side. So now,
Yeah.
Kathleen Dunbar, Florida state rep and, of course, councilwoman and the grand mistress of the Saddlebrook Republicans, is in the live chat. And she said, David made my dreams come true. 3 exclamation points. I will help you all I can. And she's,
So are you telling me I have a new best friend?
yeah, you do. She goes, I will help you out all I can in Saddlebrook, but I am worried about your seat, um,
Yeah.
Congress.
It, it is actually, um, it's tough. What happens when you have a very well educated district? Um, it's a prosperous district. A lot of the Republican base has a little bit more leave me alone. Government is a pain in the hiney. Just let me take care of my family, pray to my God, run my business.
Yeah,
And so you're going to need a Republican that's fairly disciplined. But another thing we saw in the data is, and I don't want this to sound arrogant. We win the Arizona one seat if I'm at the top of the ticket.
gotcha.
And forgive me, a fly just flew into my eye. Um, it is so you got to sort of think about it as that margin when you have these tough seats like Sistemani's seat, my seat, just a couple thousand vote turnout here and there make difference. Look, we only control the state legislature by what, 4 or 5 thousand votes. Just that movement. And we predict there'll be 50, 70,000 fewer votes in part of this, in parts in certain key areas of the state, this general election. That's a real problem. So there's method in our madness here.
A couple more questions. We'll let you go. Who cares about the government shutdown? That's the same old crap, different day.
Yeah, and the con is it's only about 18% of the government actually shuts down.
Of
Now,
course.
it's why I want to go to the Grand Canyon. I love the Grand Canyon. It's shut down. So it's often the front facing thing, but the vast majority of government is still up and running.
Correct. Congressman, any thoughts on these? A lot of questions because now we have a lieutenant governor. So, like,
Yeah.
what's your thoughts on the lieutenant governor? CCB likes you and Andy, so of course she would love you guys just to be a ticket of Andy and David, but that's a waste of time also for me, to do that. So, what's your thoughts on the
Well,
lieutenant governor
if
dynamic?
you read the statute, it's something you decide after the primary.
Right.
Um, do you want to be handing out a salary to someone and not getting work out of them? So there is a provision where you can have them run the Department of Administration, which is actually sort of the true administrator of much of government. So when we get there, we'll look at that. Do you want someone that's competent to actually say, all right, you're the lead bureaucrat. Go help us revolutionize state government. Let's make it better, faster, cheaper, and friendlier. You know, and I'm not a big believer that a vice president or secretary of state really helps the candidate actually win. But you're often looking for talent. Do you want someone that's just going to tell you what you want to hear, or someone it has an expertise saying, look, here's why this isn't working? So we got months and months and months to worry about that.
And then Noah, who was the biggest guy, came back. Noah's a smart guy. I like Noah. David's best chance is his worth ethic. I give it to David. He works hard and smart. So,
Noah, maybe you and I really can work out something.
absolutely. All right, I appreciate the conversation, and then let me know. I know you're going to be coming down more often, so let me know when you're coming.
Oh, absolutely. And that's also one of the things I'm joyful about. Look, I have a 3-year-old and a 9-year-old. When you're gone 60% of the time and you're doing, homework on FaceTime with your daughter, uh, Congress is unsavable. I'd really like to save Arizona and also like to save my own family.
Amen.
So, hey, I appreciate you having me.
David, have a good day. We'll talk very, very soon, I know.
Thanks. Bye now.
There he is, Congressman Schweikert, now Governor candidate Schweikert. Tony, let's go to break. We'll bring on Anna Clark, Northwest Republicans. She has it's like a very special episode of Blossom, as they used to say in the old days. She has a special meeting of Northwest Republicans with Josh and Chris King. So we'll talk about that when we come back. You're on Live the Dream.